Hello and welcome back to Game Day. We are here again with your Point Park Pioneers as they will be facing the Converse Valkyries today. Ari, we're here on Thursday. It's not Wednesday.
It is Thursday.
It is
Welcome, welcome.
Thursday. Surprise!
Yeah, and we're going to be here playing in the NACE Star League. This is debatably the biggest game of kind of the whole year we've had so far, we being Point Park University. Now, it's really, really important for Point Park to win this game today. If they do not win this game, there is no chance they are making it to postseason. So that is going to be the big element, kind of a fear of whatever you want to call it, happening today.
Absolutely. And you know what? This is such a tough matchup. The Valkyries are undefeated thus far in the season, and they have recently partnered with Nightblood Gaming, and they've been competing in tier 2 events. So tough opponents. We did face them previously, and we did lose both games. I think it was 13-7, 13-8.
Somewhere around those lines.
Something. Now we did play on Split and Icebox, and
Mm-hmm.
Icebox is out of the pool right now. So hopefully with another map we have a little bit better of a shot. But these are fierce opponents, and we really do have to just kind of get it together if we want to stay in this NACE Star League, because I know the team wants it so badly.
Mm-hmm. And definitely, every team wants a shot at postseason. So definitely, it's important to take one game at a time. But yeah, this is the pivotal game. This is gonna be
I mean,
not the beginning of the end, but
this is the game.
it is the game for Point Park. Now, do we want to talk about kind of what's going around on the league kind of standpoint? I want to talk just a little bit about how postseason works for NACE Star League. So what happens is the top team from every conference, so I believe there's 12-ish conferences, 7 in East, 5 on West, and the top team will go immediately to postseason to play in a tournament format. Everyone else, if they are second or third in their conference, they go to an LCQ. And what that LCQ is a last chance qualifier. Basically, all of those teams from the second and the third qualifiers come together. They play their own separate tournament in order to advance for the postseason tournament. So it's a little bit confusing to those who might not see the stats and the bracket right on the sheet there. But that's kind of the deal, and that's what everyone's fighting for today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think everyone, like you said, every team wants to have a chance to move on in that postseason. Again, Point Park does need to win this game to have a chance there, but your Converse Valkyries looking pretty good to be set up. And it looks like we already are getting these map picks coming in. It looks like map 1 will be Bind. I'm still waiting on the Decider and map 2, but this is exciting because we did not play Bind. Well, Point Park did not play Bind.
Have we played Bind? Not against Converse. Have we played Bind this year? I think on our past match, right? We played against. Well, Point Park played against.
I think
the last game. My memory is faulty.
My memory is also faulty. I can only think a week at a time, and instead of our
Michigan Flint,
typical Michigan Flint, instead of a typical Wednesday night, Point Park is here tonight on a Thursday. Of course, those of you who were with us last week did know about this change in the schedule.
They did.
And if you follow Point Park on Twitter, follow our socials, you would have seen the announcement that we are going live on Thursday this week instead of Wednesday. But very excited that we were able to get this matchup against the Converse Valkyries started. And we already have our second map in. It looks like we are going to Breeze.
It is Breeze.
I love Breeze. I'm so glad that Breeze is back. Breeze was gone for 3 terribly, terribly sorry months. I missed it.
I think those were good months, honestly.
Okay.
I enjoyed those months.
Anyway, nobody asked for Ari's opinion here on the matter.
I'm getting bullied. I do not appreciate
and rightfully so.
What?
Rightfully so. Breeze, my beloved. Oh, how I have missed thee.
No.
Okay.
No.
You know what? I'm glad Breeze is back, but I am sad that Pearl is out of rotation.
That is very true.
But we did get a very exciting new map coming in here, Sunset.
Sunset, which I wouldn't be surprised to see as our decider today. That's all I'm saying. Now, I do want to talk about Point Park on Breeze, though. They have won a map on Breeze, and they have lost a map on Breeze, which they have not on any other map. So
That's true.
I don't hate the Breeze pick at all. It's something that we know we can play. We have won a game on it. And the final map looks like it's going to be Ascent.
So, unfortunately, another week with no Sunset. but that's okay. We unfortunately do not get to see those bands coming in. We do not know what Point Park or Converse band, um, but that's okay. I am very happy with the maps we are going to see here on stream today, and I hope all you watching are too.
Yeah. Again, Point Park has played Ascent many, many times this year, have not exactly won it yet. So, but they have practiced it a lot of times. I know that was their favorite map to play, as I've heard. So, it is a map that they feel comfortable on, although they have not won it yet. They do feel prepared for that map. So, if it does happen to go to map 3, I feel like they would be capable of putting up a fight.
Yeah, and of course, you always want to have that comfort going into the decider, oftentimes, and especially this week, that is make or break it. Unfortunately, we do have a little bit of that insider information here on Point Park. We do not know Converse Valkyries, what their good maps are, what their strong maps are, which ones they like to avoid, but it doesn't matter really if you're Converse Valkyries because you've been doing well on all maps so far.
Right? Yeah. I mean, every map is a win.
Every map is
I
a
wonder.
win.
I'm curious if they have won every single map, or if some of them have been 2-1.
Yeah.
I should look into that.
Well, I do know at least this past week they had well, you know what? They recently played in the DreamHack
Oh, they
Invitational,
did.
and
They
they
did.
made it to the round of 16. They won their first two matches, kind of in that qualifying spot, and they did win two. They actually had a doubleheader last week, so they
Really?
played 4 games in the
Whoa.
same day. That is a lot of Valorant,
That's a lot of games.
and they won every single game. That is a lot of Valorant.
Uh, as much as I personally have played ranked in a certain day, I don't think that could compare to even 4 games of
Of
5v5 competitive Valorant.
Valorant.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot. So you know that the Valkyries have that tough mentality. And that does make it hard if you're a competitor in your Point Park, and that they're going to be able to stretch it out if it makes it to that decider. They're not gonna kind of let up and be relentless. So Point Park is gonna have to keep their momentum up if they want a chance against Converse University today.
I think if I'm gonna go off some insight here, a little prediction, if you will. I think that Point Park, if they want not a chance to win this game, but if they want their hopes up, if they want everything to go well today, I think it all starts with map 1, and I think it goes with taking their pick
Absolutely.
of bind.
Absolutely, because if you lose that first map, no matter which team you are, you have to win every map. After that, you cannot let a single map go to even make it to the decider, and you still have to win that. Having that first map win under your belt gives you a little bit more flexibility and comfortability, knowing, yes, we want to finish it out in 2, we want to close it out, we don't want to move on to map 3. However, if we do lose that second map, that's okay. We regroup and we're back to the decider. And once again, will be anyone's game. So should it make it to that ascent, it's all a mental game at that point.
Right, right. And of course, we say it's a mental game, but it's also Valorant.
It is Valorant.
Where anything can happen, and we could see any new strat come in today that we haven't seen in years, or something that we haven't even seen before.
Absolutely. So it's very exciting. Now, Ari, I have to ask you, I know you have watched and casted and really been here in the room for a couple more Point Park University games than I have myself. Has Point Park had to go to that deciding map?
They have gone to a decider before. I don't believe, if my memory is correct, they have converted on a map 3. So they have been able to make it to map 3s, but they have not been able to perform how they wanted on map 3s. So, you could argue, I guess, that that strength of taking it all the way through map 3, but it also could just be the maps of what it was, could just been the opposing team having some counter strats. We don't really know because there's a lot of factors that go into both teams playing a game.
Absolutely. Well, I'm anxious. I'm sure both teams here would love to just close it out in 2 maps. I don't think either team is really anxious to be going to Ascent. However, if you are that team that loses map 1, I think you're banking on making it to Ascent. Breeze is going to be a very pivotal game because that will kind of determine if we go to that decider or not. As always, that's how a best of 3 works.
Right.
That is how a best of 3 works. However, it's still anyone's game. Valkyries, tough opponents, but I know, unfortunately, we did not get to be a part of Valkyries' last game, but we were a part of Point Park University's last game, and that also looked like a very tough matchup, and they were able to bring it home.
Right. And something I want to touch on is Point Park, they've seemed confident and not so confident, which is okay. Teams have their ups and their downs. They have converted on their first win against University of Michigan of Flint last time and last week, and UMF just this week had actually beaten UT Dallas, which Point Park had played earlier. So
Right.
Point Park did lose to UT Dallas, and UT Dallas did also lose to Converse Valkyries. So I feel like there's a weird combination in here where the stats kind of line up and say that this is going to be a pretty good game, pretty fair game.
I think it will as well. We see here on the screen right there, you're looking at Creep, the IGL of Point Park University. I did have the chance to talk and sit down with him before this game, and he was saying that he's excited for this game. He thinks it's going to be a big one, but he did say Converse University Valkyries are a tough opponent. They have been undefeated. They were fourth in CVAL last year.
For those
of
of you
course,
who don't know, that is Collegiate Valorant, sponsored by
that is
Riot.
Collegiate Valor, and if you are having fun watching this NACE Star League, stick around later in the semester for some C Valor. And I believe, does Point Park have a team in CLOL? Collegiate League of Legends? Or I don't.
So. I believe so. I don't know if they're doing it this year, but they have in previous years.
Well, if you're interested in more League of Legends gameplay from Point Park University, come back on Tuesday for their first game.
Right, for the first game.
I'm excited.
I will not be casting, but I will be here in the room. I will try and jump on the camera if chat so desires.
Yes, we do have a very exciting lineup of talent for Tuesday, and of course, a whole new team. We don't have our Valorant team playing. We have our League of Legends team playing. Very excited, and those of you who have been around with Point Park University for the last couple years, you'll know that one of our casters is actually now on the team.
Right. Yes, I forgot about that. Ricky.
Yes.
Ricky, also known as Gamertag Unknown, because I don't know what he goes by.
I also don't know what he goes by. I just know him as Ricky. But if you're interested to know what his gamer tag is, make sure you come back on Tuesday.
That was a good one. I like that. That was a good transition.
Oh, thank you.
That's why you're paid the big bucks.
That's why we're paid the big bucks. They don't pay us, but if you personally want to pay us,
no. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway.
I'm just kidding. We can't do that. But anyway, back to the game. Well, not in the game quite yet.
Not the game quite yet.
I'm getting anxious. I'm just ready to see some Valor, man.
And you can see a curse there with the little Red Bull sip. We are sponsored by Red Bull. Gonna be cracking one open right now. So they help us support our our facilities and our team overall. So big thanks to Red Bull.
Yeah, and actually Red Bull did put on the Red Bull Campus Clutch. Now, unfortunately, Point Park out of the running for that, but that doesn't mean it's over. You can check out Red Bull Campus Clutch for those collegiate teams that are still in the running. Of course, the international finals will be taking place in Istanbul, Turkey. Yes. Unfortunately, no team from Point Park will be there.
Right, yeah.
We're not on the team, so we wouldn't have been there anyway.
I mean, we're on the team.
We're on the team. We could have snuck in their luggage.
Oh, true.
Maybe next year.
Yeah. That's fair. Where would you get a luggage that where would you get like a suitcase that could like fit like both us and like luggage,
Oh, well, the thing is we let them pack. We take their luggage out and we go in.
But then they have no clothes now.
Well, you know what? That's not our problem because we're in Istanbul now.
I like how you think.
Thank you.
Yeah,
if any of you guys want to come along for the ride, make sure you cheer on your favorite collegiate team in the Red Bull Campus Clutch and see if you too can stow away in their luggage.
And if that team is Point Park, you're in the right place.
If that team is in Point Park. We are in Point Park.
Yes.
But if your team is Point Park and you want to come visit us here and stow away in their luggage next year when they qualify, make sure you cheer them on.
Yep.
But we're not in Red Bull Campus Clutch right now. We are in NACE Star League.
That's right.
So if you let me hear in chat, let's put some predictions up. Who do you think is going to win map 1? Who do you think is going to win on bind here?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be something that we're looking forward to. Question marks all over this game today. Now, I have seen personally from Point Park that they do like their Cypher setups on bind, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a Cypher, but map comps are a little bit later, so I won't get talking to that too much about that right now.
No, but if we are bringing that up again, right now it's all speculation. We don't know what either team is playing. Cypher is a very strong Sentinel on Bind. Another Sentinel we see oftentimes on Bind is Sage, just because of the layout in the close chokeholds. That wall actually does see a lot of utility versus some of these bigger maps. You know, we're going to Breeze later. There's lots of openings where you can just kind of counteract that wall.
I will say, I feel like Bind is one of the maps where you can see pretty much any Sentinel being played.
Yeah, exactly. Killjoy, not as popular, but I feel like she's very strong.
play Killjoy Innocent.
Well, you play Killjoy.
Or no, not Innocent. I'm Bind. I play Killjoy in Bind.
Do you play Killjoy Innocent also?
I do play Killjoy Innocent.
I wouldn't be surprised if this goes to map 3, and we do always see, not always, but typically see in a typical Valorant Ascent comp, you do see that Killjoy. So if we make it to map 3, which I wouldn't be too surprised if we do make it to map 3.
I'm ready for some map 3.
I'm ready. I love Ascent.
I love Ascent.
Let's see some Ascent.
I love a map 3.
I love a map 3.
Close game.
You know, the last 2 times they played, you know what? I wish I knew the stats. I believe it was 13-7, 13-8. So those are close score lines, especially when you look at some of the other teams that have faced the Valkyries and lost,
Right.
and also some of the Point Park losses as well haven't been that close. So I think this is a good matchup. I know Point Park definitely feeling good after that win last week. Definitely has some confidence, and I think they're ready for a good game. But then you have the Valkyries who have been practicing and scrimming, and that tier 2 experience is so crucial. I mean, they're going against big teams on that path to pro.
Yeah.
And, you know, even if they haven't won any major tier 2 tournaments, the fact that they're there and they're playing, I mean, that's huge. That experience cannot go unnoticed. So I think we are in for a good game. I think you're going to see some new things from Valkyries and some new things from the Pioneers. And I'm just excited I think this is a little bit step up of the typical collegiate games that we have been seeing so far in this season.
Yeah, this is definitely going to look like, you know, one of the most professional games we've casted, we've been able to see. And overall from Point Park, they've been able to play. I feel like this is going to be the closest game, I would say.
I mean, I sure hope so. I'm always excited when we can see just good gameplay in it, and it's never fun when it's a stomp on either side. I don't think anyone wants to see that. It doesn't matter who you're a fan of. Of course, if your favorite team, wins 13-0, you're feeling pretty good. That's bragging rights. But it's
not very
always
entertaining.
It's not entertaining. It's not entertaining. If you're winning, it's not entertaining. If you're losing, of course, all you have at that point is bragging rights, which you'll have at the end of a win no matter what. So why not make it a close game? Suspense, drama.
You gotta have a good storyline.
You gotta have a good storyline. And what do you know this week? I have the script.
Yeah, you have the script. So you're
I
gonna
have the
have to make the
script this
predictions.
week. I do, and I predict a map 3.
Okay.
What I would love, Ari, who do you think overall? Who can you envision winning this matchup? Again, 2 very good teams. Hard to say.
I mean, if we want to go based off statistics, you can say that Converse probably has the upper hand when it comes to the record, when it comes to the past matchup.
The experience as well.
Right. It is anyone's game, though. Everyone's got a top seed and a lower seed, but they play the game for a reason, and they try their hardest to absolutely win the crap out of that game.
I mean, and that doesn't go without notice. I have to say, though, I am a big fan of the underdog in any situation. Point Park is the underdog here, and I would love to see if they were able to win this matchup, because what an incredible story if they're able to do that. They not only stay in the tournament, but this is really a comeback game. This is a revival for them, a chance to kind of turn back what we saw before. But I think it's going to be tough. I think if Point Park wants to do that, they really have to bring their A game today. Nobody can have an off game. Last time they faced off, Sunseri was the only person to go positive both games. An ACS, which, again, for those of you who don't know Valorant, average combat score, nearly 300, which is pretty good, especially when you're playing in this organized play. I think a lot of times we see that ACS kind of
around
falling
200.
Around 200. I think the lowest a lot of times is still over 100.
Yep.
Versus those of you who are Valorant fans and maybe you play at home, you'll see a Smurf with 4 or 500 ACS, and then there's someone going 0 and 10 with like a 82 ACS. So
You want to know? I believe the world record for ACS was just broken the other day. The
really
new highest ACS in a game, legitimately, which is
not
not
Smurfing.
smurfing, not cheating, not hacking. 661 was achieved
661.
in Radiant.
I mean, that does sound like
Oof.
Radiant gameplay. And, I think that's fun because once you're, not that there aren't still Smurfs in Radiant on alt accounts, but once you're in that kind of Radiant pool and you can play with Radiant players and Immortal players, it's, it's really hard to Smurf in Radiant when that is only the top 500 players.
Right?
Um, you can certainly Smurf with a lower RR rating,
Right.
but you're still playing against those same matchup and players that you would be on your main account. So that is incredible. That is an incredibly high ACS. I don't see myself beating it anytime soon, although I can only dream.
So yeah, basically, well, so the player's name was Curry. Curry is known for being
Mm-hmm.
rank 1 Valorant NA.
Yes.
He recently just reached Radiant on EU. He was doing a series. I do not condone smurfing. Smurfing content is a thing that is on YouTube a
Mm-hmm.
lot. I believe Valorant has a policy they don't allow smurfing,
Mm-hmm.
but Curry had made a series where basically he wasn't trying to stay in a rank, he wasn't trying to go there, he was just
Mm-hmm.
taking a new account and trying to win it as high up as
Mm-hmm.
possible because you can't play in two different regions with the same account. You have to have a
Exactly. You
different account.
can't. And, again, talking about is that smurfing, is that not? And certainly smurfing content is kind of damaging to those players who aren't in that Radiant bracket, who do have to play against smurfs. However, when you do have a new account, which of course Curry had to make, being in a new region, I think the highest you can be placed is Ascendant? Or can you be placed Ascendant? Is it
I
Diamond?
think it's Diamond
Diamond,
3.
Diamond or Ascendant? Um, but yes, so again, you have to start at Diamond or Ascendant to move up to Radiant. Not smurfing, just something you have to do. As we kind of get ready to go into this game here, I think we are going to go to a short break. Teams are just trying to clarify some rules with each other and getting ready for this matchup. So, as Point Park and Valkyries are working on that, we're going to go to a quick break and we will see you guys in just a few short moments.
Yes.
All right, guys, sorry about that short little break. Me personally, I just needed to hydrate a little bit.
Yep, I got
My
my
Red Bull right here.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, so we are just about getting ready to head into that bind game. I have to say, just this extra time waiting has only made me more excited to watch, and maybe it's the caffeine from the Red Bull, but I'm jittery. I am ready to
The
get
added
right into this match.
suspense.
It's so much suspense.
You know the plot. What did they say? The plot thickens.
The plot is so thick right now.
How the turntables?
Oh, this table is turning.
It's turning. Chat knows.
Chat knows.
Chat knows.
Chat knows.
Chat knows about the table. So, we have some important news, by the way, and by we, I mean me. And chat. I hit plat 2.
Woo!
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, and my year and a half of playing Valorant. Yeah, that's all that.
Let's go.
I ranked up.
Everyone, I hope you're excited for some exciting Plat 2 Valorant analysis today.
Yep. And, you know, who knows? Maybe on the YouTube channel, you're going to see a Casters to Masters video, maybe.
Casters to Masters?
That sounds pretty good, though.
I got to get to Plat 2 first.
I mean, you know. I mean, yeah, the goal is to get to Plat 2. Well, no, the goal is to get... No, the goal...
Plat 2, okay, I'm done. I'm retired.
Yeah. The pros... Radiant? Nah. Just get to Plat 2. You're good. That's, you know... I mean, that is average player base now. I believe is Plat 1, Gold 3 area.
All right, everyone. I am below average. Let's go.
It's okay. I believe in you. We'll make it there. We'll make it there.
It's okay. You can only rank up by actually playing ranked.
That's true.
So...
But then again, if you don't play ranked, you don't lose.
You can't rank down.
You
can't
lose.
D-rank if you don't play ranked. Yeah, I'm unrated for this season. So in my mind, I know I'm radiant.
I was actually looking at my gun buddies. So I believe every episode you get a new buddy for what rank you are. And I was noticing that every act I had a new buddy.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's kind of
cool.
Because if all goes according to plan, this episode I'm hitting diamond. Woo!
I mean, if you historically look at your gun buddies, that's
right.
That's
the trend.
The only possible outcome here.
And the same.
Where did you start? What is your first gun buddy?
So, well, my first gun buddy was bronze. I did start in iron.
I started in iron, and you know what? I have the exclusive iron gun buddy from my very first season playing Val. I think I played like 11 games, got that gun buddy in and out, baby. But no more talk about us. Let's talk about the players we're going to be seeing today.
I mean, I wonder if all of these players started off in Iron 2. Where did they start off?
Where did they start off?
Did they start off going absolutely crazy in Plat 2 already day 1 and, you know, we're just sad?
They started higher than my peak for sure.
Probably. They probably did.
But that's okay.
Looking at these comps, it looks like we might be seeing a double controller from both sides.
Maybe we're just waiting for Jay to lock in that Astra, which it looks like we might see. Of course, Point Park University, we have Creep and Clark already locked in on the double controller, and Jay does lock in Astra there. We're seeing double controller. Double.
I wonder if you could hear Creep there on the broadcast. You probably could.
I don't know if you guys could hear, but we sure could. Lots of cheering. I think they're excited by what they see. Don't know what that means. We'll see coming out. Very excited about this team composition. You know, we see a little bit of a different kind of... There's no Sentinel on the side of the Converse Valkyries. Now, maybe they know something we don't. Their games have been going pretty well so far. So definitely something to look out on. I think that means they might have a stronger attacking half with that double duelist. But again, we talked about that Cypher here as the Sentinel on bind, we said Point Park is very, very comfortable. We got cursed again on that cipher, so definitely something to look out. It does look like Point Park will be starting on attack, so I think the next half is really what we need to look out for.
Right, and you can see with Point Park's match history on bind, it was this exact map. They ran into a double duelist comp, and they had a no senti comp from the other team. And Creep's gonna go down right off the bat. Cursed trying to get the trades in there, but unfortunately does get taken out himself. Going to put numbers in favor of Converse University here on this first round, 4-3. Now everyone just playing back, and Converse has control of the spike here, so that's not going to be great for Point Park. You know that you have to push them instead of them having to push you, and since you're down numbers, any trade is actually a bad trade. And ooh, that paint shell going to be chipping Clark down all the way to 50 HP, and Selzy gets taken out by J. Cruel, this duelist of a Yoru, as we see. And another trade coming out, Sunsari remaining 22 HP and a Dream in a 1v3 scenario, Spike down in the middle of nowhere. And the shots found on the first one, so there is a little bit more of hope. There is the paint shell now. And that Viper Orb, oh, and the shot through the box. Excite going to take the first round for Converse Valkyries, and that's going to be a team ace as well for them. So overall, you know, you're seeing a pretty standard gameplay. You know, you saw aggression out of A main for Converse. Pretty standard, nothing crazy. I'm excited to see where this game starts to lead to.
Yeah, and again, it's always hard to tell on those pistol rounds, but I think there is a couple things we could note for them. One, I mean, Converse University did not come to mess around. Again, teammates, that means everyone there got a kill. Nice trades coming in from them, not as much from Point Park Esports. We also saw, we did see some good positioning from Point Park, and of course, Sunsari has kind of two modes. We see Sunsari like to lurk, and then we see Sunsari like to just run in.
We love the good run.
We love the good run and gun. Not even run and gun, just run in.
Run it down.
Run it down, really.
And now Sunsari trying to be leading his team onto the site here. It's going to be a 5-man push through B long. Right on the site. This Viper wall is actually a very, very valuable wall because it allows them to get into this elbow area. But Excite spraying down 3 and gets to the 4th before Cursed can take him down. That's going to put this into a 4v1 scenario. Cursed is able to find that Spectre, but this is going to be a tough one to win if you're Cursed. Oof. I mean, you got a camera, and yeah, there's not much you can really do there, as Wildfire is going to get the 5th and final kill. But again, Point Park was down on the buys there. They were on a Sheriff pistol-ish kind of buy, so...
And you know what? Again, I'm just going to keep drilling this into everybody's head. Game after game, you guys are going to get sick of me, but any damage you can do on a save is good damage. And so they were able to take one gun there offline, of course. Not able to do much more, and that's okay. If you're Point Park, because now you have that rifle buy-up. And we see rifles coming out from all of them. Of course, there's still a couple Bulldogs on the side of Converse. Going to make it a little bit hard. And look how far Converse University has pushed out. And that aggression, which is, again, we said they're going to be stronger on attack, but we're seeing it here now on the defensive side. And that's something Point Park University is really going to have to work around and kind of find out how to kind of counter that.
And this is exactly what we saw in round 1 too. This was the same aggression from Converse into Point Park. Clark goes down with the bomb, but
Nice
Creep
shot.
finds the shot this time to even it up a little bit. Is Creep aware though? Oh
This is
boy. Oh, and the trades are not there. Wildfire's off positioning, but Cursed gets a few.
And is going to know where the last two are. We see that Neural Theft come out and is going to be able to get to the spike. It knows that they're both on that A site, as we see some of that utility coming out. Enough time to kind of go back to B site if they want, but it looks like the opponents have the same idea. Are they going to meet up on B? Or is Curse going to fake out? Let's see. Looks like this might just be a B hit. Only 30 seconds left.
There
in
is
this
always that
half.
TP option.
There is the TP, and is Curse going to take it?
Oh.
Doesn't look like it, and I think at this point Chris has to commit. Doesn't know where to look. Excite going to finish out that round. That is 3rd round on the board for your Converse University Valkyries. Although quite an expensive one. Lost 3 only going to be able to recover
2 rifles from that. Of course, they should be able to buy up the rest of the way now. Not feeling so hot if you are Point Park Pioneers right now.
Right, and the thing with Converse that round is that was their bonus round.
That was.
That was their saved guns from round 2.
And they had 2 left over, so they are able to pick up 2 rifles after that. Don't even need to put that in. Look at Excite there, 5,000 credits. Moby, 5,000 credits. They're in a really, really good position right now, economy-wise.
That's exactly right. And I'm curious to see if Point Park can find this adaptation, or kind of, they always get pushed right off the bat by this Euro Flash off the rip, and they usually go down at least one person. But I'm curious to see if they're going to back off from this Yoru, what they're going to do, and are they aware of that Astra? And yes, they are, but the shot's not going to land right away. But, ooh, the trades are in their favor. The Sky Seeker is going to come out from Converse University, and those guns hopefully are going to get into their hands, but they are going to be somewhat protected by this smoke. Now, Celsi clearing angles with the dog, spots the Viper, back sight, and all 3 players have rotated over to A. So Cursed, if he gets this lucky timing, might be able to find the shot onto the Sky. Unfortunately, Sky does invest the dog there, so not all is lost, as utility trades are always wonderful to see. But now everyone just kind of backing off here. Cursed trying to buy time for the Point Park Pioneers to move over to B site, and that call is going to be said right about now, as they're going to hear that spike drop, and Converse now aware that this hit is going to be a B site hit unless there is a TP in store, which there may or may not be.
And it doesn't look like there is going to be a TP starting to go on site, but again, Converse University was right there. It is now a 1v1, but Creep was able to pick up a gun. Doesn't matter, Wildfire going to get that collat onto Creep. And you know, that was a pretty tough round because Point Park University did have that numbers advantage there for a little bit. However, they did not have the better guns, and I really think that's kind of what did them in at the end. Creep able to pick up that rifle, but it doesn't matter.
That was
when he got spotted.
That was a really good sheriff buy round.
That was a very, very good sheriff buy. And you know, if you're not going to win the round, make it as expensive as possible for your opponents. And the operator now coming out from Jay Cruel, that Yoru.
Ooh,
Everyone
scared.
has rifles now. Of course, mine is Jay Cruel with that op.
I'm scared.
I'm
scared of an operator.
I'm scared of an operator. I'm always scared of an operator.
I am curious to see if Point Park goes for a read. You know, we did see in VCT the Euro being used by Sentens and 100 Thieves Asuna, and there was that kind of play there. Oh, they're going to be blind. Oh, the trades are in favor of Converse. So this is really interesting. You see Converse kind of aggressing their fights when they want to. Point Park's really not taking fights on their own terms. Curious to see if that's part of their strategy or if something's just kind of catching them off guard right now.
You know, of course, I'm not living rent-free in their minds, but I do think, I don't think this is necessarily their strategy. I would doubt, as they are down 4-0 right now. I think Converse University just has this controlled aggression. And it's like we said, look out for Converse University on that attacking side, but they're able to do it so well here on defense. And I think it's really going to be hard for Point Park coming into this next half. They only have that Cypher as a sentinel, but we do see Creep coming out with that ultimate to try to clear sight, and that's so unfortunate. Sensei had that ult ready. It's all now down to Creep. 1v4 gets one. Is the call going to come in to save? I think so. Not enough time. Doesn't have Spike. Still down 1-3.
And I don't know if you saw that, but that was actually a team flash.
That was
from Celsi, which, you know, sometimes it's inevitable. It happens. It's Valorant, and, you know, things don't always go perfectly. So a slow start for Point Park. They are going to start this game down 5-0. One rifle in the hands of Creep, so not all is lost, but they definitely want to start taking rounds shortly, otherwise it's going to snowball out of control.
And you know what, I don't remember because we were talking about so many other things, but did we actually see any shots from J. Cruel with the operator? Do they know that Yoru has that op?
I presume they know, but I don't think they saw a shot. I believe they just know.
Well, I'm sure now looking at the credits. They definitely know now if they did not then. And, you know, that just kind of makes pushing onto any site hard. Of course, you have those flashes if you don't use them against your team. Looks like there's going to be a pretty hefty fight here in showers.
That would be a Raze ultimate.
That would be a Raze ultimate.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, Jay Cruel.
With the collat.
With the collat? One shot with an up. That's why I'm scared at the up.
Yep.
That is why I'm scared.
You think they know he has an op now?
I think if they didn't,
They
they better know now.
Yeah.
Great shot. Lucky, unfortunately, for Point Park University, just sort of lined up for that. And the operator is so powerful because it allows for just that.
And it's crazy that, you know, Point Park is struggling to get onto any site here really where there's no sentinel.
Exactly.
I'm curious to see, because Point Park, they've been taking these rounds a little bit slow, which, you know, is a strategy. You want to fake them out. You want to get onto the site with as little people as possible. That being said, if you're going to rush a site, either A or B, chances, I mean, there's no way that the enemy team has all 5 members on one site. So you are going to be up in numbers, but J. Cruel finding the off shot onto the third and the paint shells coming out to find the last.
Yeah, and we see right there, Creeper, IGL's second one coming from the right, has his notebook out, is taking down notes. What can we do to fix that? I'm sure he's asking his team. And, you know, he as the IGL, the in-game leader, it is his job to kind of regroup, get the team together. We do see a timeout coming in here, so we can talk a little bit more about that. But, Ari, what do you think Point Park University has to do now? They're down quite a few rounds here now. What do they have to do to kind of bring it back?
I mean, you got to know Coach Sam is definitely taking everything into consideration right now. Not only strategies and executes, but also, you know, the mind games, right? The fakes, and of course, playing to that operator being a very huge factor. That could be a heaven, that could be on top of some box somewhere because Yoru has those TPs, and it could be B long. I mean, you really don't know.
Exactly, and of course, the Valkyries do not have that Sentinel, but they do have that Operator. Now, of course, Point Park, I'd like to see them use a little bit more of their utility. They have 2 smoking agents. They have Viper, and they have Brimstone. They also have flashes there from Celzy on that Sky, just using that utility to get in there. I think they need to kind of go a little bit quicker because they're allowing Converse University to take that aggression in exactly where they want to. Converse University is controlling where these fights are being taken, and it's just not going well. On top of that, Point Park doesn't really have those trades coming in as well as the Valkyries do, and they know exactly where the op is, and the shot was missed.
I mean, it did take out the dog, so, you know.
It did take out the dog, but it did not take out a player.
Ooh. Wildfire and Jay also taking out a few in showers. And that was unfortunate because that was a 2v2 fight there. So really, ideally, you want at least one going down there, even if you do lose that fight, if you're Point Park. And now Converse with the numbers advantage, the ult advantage, and the guns. It's looking rough here. The question is, do they know that they are in U-Haul? Are they aware that they're up so close?
I don't know, but they are posted around that site. And we did see over there Moby being able to push out on B site, knows they aren't going B long. They know where they are and where they could be. I don't know if they're watching that flank. It, of course, is now 3-5. Not looking too hot for the side of Point Park University.
And Point Park has not utilized this teleport system yet. So there comes the tap, and there comes the swings and the flash. Sunseri finding the first, but Jay's going to be able to take down 2 there. Creep now hitting the teleport. Like I mentioned, maybe I got the script, maybe I'm right, but is not aware of the Viper behind him, and that's probably going to be the round for Converse.
And that is a round for Converse, and I think that's not the first time we've actually seen Creep there on that B site, kind of the last man standing, trying to just get the ball rolling, trying to win, and then someone from Hookah coming to get them. And things aren't looking too good here for Point Park Esports. You know, any round that they get now, they've already let the economy momentum build up so much for the Valkyries, almost looking like they don't have a chance, but that doesn't mean they don't. You just kind of got to regroup. There have been a couple close rounds, a couple close, what would have been a thrifty, and of course was not converted. But again,
ooh, 1, 2.
That's huge.
Sunseri with 2. Can I get a 3? No, okay, there's a smoke there. So Sunseri, definitely a beautiful, beautiful play. Creep Going to be getting the plant. And
Sunseri
Sunseri
with
with the
3.
board. Okay. Now Sunseri has been activated. You've
Knows
activated.
where that shot is. 4.
That's it.
Sunseri with an ace. And Point Park University back in it. That's what we needed. We needed that aggression from Sunseri. Again, we said last time they faced off, Sunseri the only player to go positive in their 2 games they played before. And that is exactly the kind of round and the kind of momentum and just the kind of just mental, like, I don't even know. I mean, just that is exactly the round win they needed.
Oh.
That was so fast. Sunseri just ran it down like we said. That's what they need to be doing.
That was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
I love that. I would watch that. I think every round.
I would watch that every round.
I know.
Oh,
I
my
said I didn't like a beatdown, but like if Sunseri aces like 4 more times, I'm okay with that.
I don't like a beatdown either, but if the beatdown is from a single player acing round after round, that's good enough for me. Unfortunately, if Sunseri does get an ace the next 4 rounds, the Pioneers still will be down quite a few rounds, but that is definitely what they needed mentally to keep themselves in this game before we switch halves.
Right, and you know what they always say, it always starts with 1 round. And Point Park looks like they've got Sunseri activated for I don't want to say the first time in this game, but certainly the most significant time so far. And I'm excited to see what the rest of this match is going to be bringing.
Oh man, have to be feeling good after that. Of course, you see the player cams in the little corner down there. I don't know if you could hear them cheering, but you could certainly see it on their faces. That is exactly what they wanted. We see the replay coming up right there. If you look on the left, Sunseri with that ace. What a great round. Looking to do it again. I like that it looks like they're being a little bit faster. Not quite pushing far enough, but that's okay. Point Park just needs to kind of do what they just did, and we're doing that right now, sending Sunseri in with the Boombot.
And you can see Converse, kind of adapting. They probably changed up their setup just a little bit.
Oh.
And Sunseri finding the ult onto Wildfire.
And of course, we didn't see it, but Creep, I was worried about Creep getting a little bit of timing there. Coming out, we saw Jay Cruel kind of posted up there in those boxes up there, but doesn't matter. Creep was able to kind of look and get that. And once again, Pioneers up in numbers, and now they have that gun advantage. Or I guess not advantage, but matchup,
Right.
really.
And any trade here is a good trade, and Sunseri going to be finding the first without a trade, mind you. So now it's a 4v1 scenario, and it looks like the call is to save for Converse. So this is going to be the first time Converse has to save. Excite, probably holding the exit, trying to get a few guns out. But you can see the ping on the map. They are aware of where this guy is.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, the dominant fashion from Converse, it's kind of diminishing.
Well, I think we talked about how great of a run that was, just mentally for the Pioneers, but let's talk about how much of a detriment that was for the Valkyries. Of course, Valkyries weren't feeling too bad. They were still up 7-1, but to lose to an ace in that fashion, that never feels good. And I don't know what it is that makes an ace feel so much worse than just like a team ace, when really, you would think mentally, oh, I only have to worry about one person, but something about an ace just makes you be like, whoa, I'm scared. Like, what are we gonna do? Not sure why that is.
Yeah,
but
it's strange. It's strange. I mean, in your ranked games, it's like, why don't we just, if we see this guy, run away? And that's not what the enemy team is deciding to do.
Almost gets a second there through the wall and does get the second. That's Jay and Wildfire down. And once again, 5v3. This is what Point Park needed. They needed that Sunseri aggression. Unfortunately, for Point Park, Celsi is down. That means we'll not be able to heal up Sunseri, but that's okay. Sunseri did it on 35 HP before.
That's right.
And Sunseri could very well do it again. Curse knows exactly where Yoru is, and Creep was spotted. Of course, that doesn't mean now that Converse University has that intel, knows where the players are. It's going to be hard. It's 3v3 right now, but Plant is down.
Well, this is going to be a tough crossfire to break, and the Seeker's coming out. Creep finding a nice shots. That was a beautiful reaction to everything that was going around. There were Sky Seekers, there were smokes. Creep said, enough of that, and I'm going to shoot everybody in the face.
Creep wasn't scared. Creep said, You know, I saw Sunseri with the ace. I saw Sunseri with the 3K. It's my turn. I'm the IGL. Let me show you what I can do. Let me show you why I am your leader. And did just that. Got the plant down. It was looking dicey, but doesn't matter. And what a great round. And now we're starting to see that momentum pick up. And although everyone can buy a rifle now, should the Point Park University Pioneers win this next round, Converse Valkyries do not have that much of an economy built up and will have to go on a save.
Right, and this is going to be the 11th round, so 12th round is going to be anything that you can afford. You are going to have to buy up, and this Viper Pit on B site is going to show aggression out, but Creep now aware of the aggression, and Curse finding the trade onto J. Cruel, and Excite also going down, so
This
you're
is
going to see...
a double Viper's Pit round.
Yeah, you're going to see Clark's Viper's Pit in return there. The ults in favor of Point Park. They have mollies. They have lineups from this Brimstone and Viper combo. That's what's so broken about it. And now it's a 4v2 in favor of Point Park.
It is. I mean, they really just ran in and doing that. Getting that pick on the Viper on Moby was so huge. Viper's Pit, again, is one of the strongest ultimates in the game if you're able to play around it. And unfortunately, Moby going down, not able to have that control of that site, very quickly became a 4v2. And now the Valkyries are going to have to, once again, save their guns.
I mean, it is the smart decision at the end of the day.
It is the smart decision.
Because you have this last round coming up.
It is the last round coming up. And, when you're down 2-4 and that Viper's Pit is up, almost impossible to kind of convert that. Not that it can be done. And Clark hunting for kills right now, but it doesn't matter. This is the last round, 7-4. Of course, Point Park University looking to make it 7-5. They just won 4 rounds in a row.
And if you're looking at the scoreboard here, you can see Selzy, he's 2-10, which, isn't a maybe great KD. But look at those assists.
10 assists. That is more than double anyone else on the board.
As a Sky player, it's fun to see that assist number just go up and up and up, and it does not ever make you feel sad when it's up at 17, 20.
Yeah, and look at all this utility there in showers, but Wildfire going to get to now 5v3 in favor of Converse University Valkyries, but it is the last round. No saving now. Going to have to just push everything you can. And again, we see Creep throwing out that ultimate, trying to get some down, but that stun hurts. Hard to fight. Doesn't see Excite. Excite with that trigger. Discipline just waits and then gets 2 jumping out of hookah. That was not cleared by the Pioneers. And I mean, that trigger discipline was so beautiful. Didn't even really need it in this scenario. They had that numbers advantage. But man, was that fun to see. It always feels bad when you look back and see, oh, they saw me and waited, and I never checked, and then got my teammate, and then me. Always feels bad.
I mean, if you're Point Park, though, I think you're very, very happy with how that half went. You see 8-4, you might think, oh, okay, I mean, Converse won that pretty handily. But when you realize it was a 7-0 start for Converse, Point Park, I think, is going to be very, very happy with how they ended that half. And especially on their defense with this no Sentinel from Converse. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and you know what? Those of you looking at the scoreline right now, seeing that 8-4 scoreline, you might be saying, okay, yeah, this is not close. This is Converse's game. But I think this is still such a close game, and you don't even realize because each team, Converse had 7 rounds in a row, and then Point Park got 4 rounds in a row. So, of course, it took them 7 rounds to kind of get that conversion, but once they had it, they had it. So we really are looking at what teams have that momentum because that's really the name of the game. What's your economy? What's your momentum?
Oh, the timing!
Oh, Sunseri!
And Sunseri gets the timing on that Yoru. I think they thought that the Yoru was a clone for a second because he was just standing there, but they do find the pick. It is going to be a 4v3 in favor of Converse. So Point Park not down but not out in this round. The paint shell still available to clear backside or elbow wherever they do so choose. Creep kind of not aware of this lurk.
I think that was not a bad idea to put the paint shells there. And that Cubby looking pretty tough for V2. Bomb is down, running out of time, but they are on site.
And the first shot's found by Sunseri.
Oh, but Jay is going to trade right back. Selzy just trying to stick the defuse. Doesn't quite get it. Wildfire. Really, what a great pistol round. And you know what? That's the second pistol round of the series that does go to the Valkyries here.
You know, I'm curious because I'm curious to see the stat of Point Park on pistol rounds.
Yeah.
Because we know that Point Park, well, I should say this, pistol rounds have a very big impact on the outcome of a game. If you win pistol round, chances are you're going to win the second round. And if you're winning both pistol rounds, that is 4 whole rounds that you could be winning in a game.
Yeah, and we do typically see that third round after pistol go to your opponents just because they have the better guns, but you still have that kind of half buy that does give you that position to kind of get those rifles down, like we saw Converse University being able to do. And I think if memory serves me correctly, the last couple weeks, Point Park did lose more pistol rounds than they were able to gain there.
Excite now. Just trying to play back. Not trying to give enough info here. And with this Viper wall, this Converse Viper setup is one that's not going to let Point Park know if they're lurked up into U-Haul unless they have a player in U-Haul. And Clark's going to find that they're all in U-Haul right now, and it's going to be kind of a bloodbath for Point Park as Converse does have the better guns, and Curtis just going to try and do some damage, but eventually goes down as well.
It does, and I saw at least 3 separate bulldogs there from the Valkyries. Now, if you're Point Park, you should be able to buy rifles this round. The bulldog is a rifle, of course, does not do as much damage to the head. It does take more shots than, let's say, your Phantom, your Vandal. But look at that, four bulldogs. I mean, that's a rifle.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing about the Bulldog is it is a burst fire when it's scoped in. But the bigger thing is that it's not a one shot to the head, no matter what distance.
Yes, I mean, which is huge. So Point Park University does still have the gun advantage, but I mean, just having those 4 bulldogs for the side of Converse University, those aren't bad guns. And we have seen them winning more fights, winning more duels. And so even though, yes, Point Park University should be able to convert this round, they were not in the last half. Play is going down. And, you know, they're just going to have to try to do that this round. Unfortunately, they were doing such a great job last half, but 10-4, tough to deal with. We know there's a fight here, U-Haul. Selzy gets one.
Ooh.
Oh, but the trade's coming out. It's a 3v3. But plans down. Gonna have to kind of run in. Oh, the timing here on this and the ultimate just coming out.
Woo!
Cursed, nice shot.
Is there just going to be a stick or no?
I don't think so.
Oh, Clark! Who is this guy? But I believe Clark is the GOAT. That's who he is.
Clark
And
is the GOAT.
Clark is the GOAT.
Very much so, yes.
You saw last week with his ace on
We did. And a
Split.
4K was not able to get that second ace. But remember, chat, if Clark is able to get 2 aces, everyone on the team, except for Clark, does need to shave their head.
Yep. And we'd love to see that because A,
I'd
we'd
love
love
to
to
see
see the
that.
whole team bald. B, we'd love to see Clark double ace in a game. That's awesome.
And what a week to do it. They really need this win right now. I'm sure it feels much better if your double ace is kind of contributing versus, oh, we're already out of the season, but
Right.
hey, I still got my double ace. Hey, you still need to shave your heads.
Mm-hmm.
Although if Point Park University loses this week, but Clark gets a double ace next week, I still count that as a win.
And Selzy now getting chipped down a little bit by this dog and the snake bite. They are going to be aware of his positioning, chances are, but is there going to be a call to rotate over to A or for Point Park, or is Converse going to decide, hey, let's just cut noise, rehit, or are we going to rotate, you know? So it's really all about what Converse decides to do here and how they decide to take this next contact.
Absolutely, and we did see Selzy, you know, kind of put that flashback out, trying to see, and you know, I couldn't quite tell, but I don't think it caught anyone in showers. So knew no one was blinded. Of course, could turn away, but does look like this is going to be a re-hit though, and Creep gets one, knows where the second one is, but is going to run away to safety. Don't blame them, Selzy, going to be able to heal Creep there.
That's really, really big.
That's huge.
That getting out, especially after getting a kill, means you are up in numbers. You have that util up for the retake.
Yes.
And Converse now going to be using this Raze ultimate. And there's comms going out saying that players are in said locations. and they're aware of the players.
Oh, and what an unfortunate bird there.
That's really, really unlucky. Curse now going to be swinging out and are going to get
And
the
it's going to
pick.
get it.
Get the pick on a Jay. Sunseri finding Wildfire as well. So now Sunseri
Knows
looking for a
exactly.
few more.
Go, Sunseri. I loved, I just want to go back though. I loved that double swing out of U-Haul. Again, didn't need the second player.
There was a lot going on
There was a
there.
lot. That was a crazy round. Point Park University, I love the way they're starting to play now. I think they were playing a little bit timid in the beginning of this game. I think they're finding their groove. The communication, it looks like, is kind of meshing a little bit more.
I feel like they're giving.
and I love it.
I feel like the term that I want to use is that Point Park is giving Converse maybe a little bit too much respect. I mean, of course, respect your opponents. They have the ability to kind of do whatever they need to, but you know, you have to be confident in your own capabilities to take out the enemy team, no matter who that may be.
Yeah, and Point Park University is going to have the guns and Converse here on that kind of save light by. We have the sheriffs from them. Excite there, though, on this guy looking for just any kind of information with that dog. Is going to see a lot of utility, but no players. And I love now that Point Park is starting to, they're holding site more, but they're pushing up and taking more space, and they were not doing that previously. That is exactly what they were allowing Converse University to do.
Curse trying to just hold down this B site, get as much information. They did see the Raze room bell come out, so there is a possibility of a hit. That flash out from Silsey in A main is going to be pretty big, as it's going to scan that there's absolutely nothing there, and that's going to be the jump out. Clark going to look for a few picks. Curse finding one in return. Curse finding two in return. Does get traded out. So a 3v2 post-plant retake 4-Point Park. Guns are on the board for Converse now as they pick them up, but they
Needs to
didn't
get
check
that
the
out.
corner. The ult finds one. That's that ult. If that doesn't connect, that is a rough retake.
You know, I was so scared there for a second because you had Sunseri with that ult out, just did not even check J. Cruel there, and I was afraid for the Pioneers that J. Cruel was going to kind of get those shots off on Sunseri before Sunseri was able to find utility, but that's okay. Sunseri was able to use the ultimate, and before going down, and then as J. Cruel was focused there on Sunseri, you had your teammates swing out, get them. What a great retake there by the Point Park Pioneers.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, cats, and squirrels, we have a game in our hands. This game is
do.
going the distance.
And what looked like just sort of, I'm not going to lie, the beginning of this game looked like Valkyries were going to stomp the Pioneers, but now only 3 rounds separating the Valkyries and the Pioneers.
You're definitely right. I mean, and you can see that Point Park, they're swapping their setups. They're not leaving this Cypher on B every single round. Cypher's on A now, and I'm not sure if Converse is going to be aware of this. The Tripwire, now they're aware.
Now they are aware.
But Sunseri having the lurk now. Is he going to find the timing?
Yes, I love Sunseri lurks.
And you can see that this kind of happened last week against UMF. As that this lurk against a no sentinel comp, and now all of a sudden it's a 2v1. There is a Yoru ult. He is going to be able to pick up Spike. Probably is going to run to TP or through spawn. And there's the TP. They're just going to play slow, play together, make sure that they can win this round together. And they're going to be hoping to win this one.
Well, and that's exactly what you need to do when you have that numbers advantage. Put yourself in a position where you can trade double swing, play high lows. You know, J. Cruel does have flashes at his disposal, but so do the Pioneers.
He is an
and they're going to
op.
use it, and they know exactly
Is that an
where
op? No.
J. Cruel is. I don't think that's an op right now. And I know it's not a tube, so no, it's Sunseri is going to find J. Cruel. That is a 3K for Sunseri. That is an 8th round on the board for Point Park Pioneers. It's 10-8.
The gun just looks so long. I thought it was an op. It was a very long phantom.
I mean, we have seen J. Cruel with an operator before, but I think an operator when you're down 1-2 is kind of hard. Although if anyone was going to do it, could be J. Cruel, because we did see J. Cruel get that
Collateral.
that double kill with the operator earlier. Not able to do it this time. Doesn't even have an up. Doesn't even have a kill there at the very end.
And now look at the buy for Converse. They're broke.
they're broke. If Point Park Esports plays the way they have been playing, they should be able to turn this back around and make it a 10-9.
Right, and if this game is 10-9, that's one round separating those teams. The Vipers pick going to be invested from Point Park, so they know chances are that's going to be on the B site. So now J. Cruel just trying to get some information with his clone is going to get flashed out by Selzy, excuse me. And Selzy's going to know that there's somebody there. But just orb farming, trying to get that information. If you're on a weak buy, chances are you're going to be fighting for these orbs. And this Viper Pit's going to be very, very crucial in rounds like these.
Absolutely. I mean, again, Viper's ult so hard to deal with, and when you're on that light buy with the ships, you're not able to just spray down and spam the pit. So that makes it very hard to deal with.
Oh, and the judge in there.
Spread up, but the judge, I love a Viper's pit judge, especially when they're on that weak buy. They can't just spray with the Phantom. They can't just spray with a Spectre. They can't just spray with an Ares. They can try their best with these sheriffs.
And that was really, really big if you didn't notice that Converse actually used their Sky ultimate. So that is an ultimate that they don't have anymore for their next gun round, per se.
But you know what? I think ultimates are so strong when you're on that weak buy because sometimes people forget that Valorant is such a utility-based game. Creep, though, coming out with an ult of his own and is going to get one on Jay, although the plant still is down.
But I don't know if you see, Yoru was 1 HP, is going to get healed up. And now Sunseri looking to connect on this Viper, and Viper is going to be flashed. So Sunseri is going to be able to pick up one. Curse
Sees the other one.
finding another one. And now the picks are coming out. Converse, it's looking rough for them. And Clark, with the judge, finally gets some value. And Selzy is going to stick the defuse, and that's going to be a Point Park Pioneers win.
There's a Point Park Pioneers win, and of course we see Creep there with the Red Bull. Of course, we have our own Red Bull
We do
here
have our own Red Bull.
on... You know what? This is an analyst desk. I'm going to call this our analyst desk because
Our analyst desk, our table,
that turns.
our beautiful table. Hashtag caster table.
Caster table, turntable.
How?
Oh, the turntables and how the tables have turned here for this game. It looked so incredibly, incredibly dominant there by the side of the Converse University Valkyries. But Point Park Pioneers still in it. And you know what? I think it's a little bit... I know the game's not over, but it's too bad that Point Park Pioneers were not able to find their foothold early on in the game because I think Bind could have easily been their dominant map if they had played in the beginning of the game how they're playing right now.
Right. Well, the question is, we talk about how Point Park has regained this lead, but at the end of the day, it's still a close tie. I believe it's still 10-10, 10-9, one of those two.
Yeah, 10-9, 10-10.
And so either team can still take this. It doesn't matter which team's winning, as we saw from the first half. It doesn't matter who's up by how many rounds.
I mean, 10-9, going to be going into that gun round here right now. Only one ultimate on the table, and that is for the side of Point Park Pioneers. But like you said, this is anyone's game. Now, we did just see that timeout coming out. I know both teams had a lot to talk about because this is so close. We talked about maybe making it a 3-mapper. I don't know who's going to win this map, but I think Breeze is going to be so important.
Ooh, this is a very big showers push from Converse, and they're going to do their traditional... Ooh, that's 2 flashes and a clone invested, and no pick found in return, all for just a singular orb. That's going to be really big for Point Park, as that's a lot of util down for Converse. And they still have these Sky Seekers for retake, for information, whatever you want to use it for.
Yeah, and we did see Converse University invest that Sky ult last round, was not able to find any sort of foothold with that. So I think Point Park University, I'm sure, saving it for a round where they can kind of have that kind of ability to turn it around. And what I love about Point Park Esports, their team composition is they have that Sky ult and they also have that Cypher ult, not available, but those are 2 ultimates that give you so much information.
Ooh, this is really big. You can see the pressure coming up on B here, but the Sky Seeker is going to be invested. They're a little curious of where the whole enemy team is at as Converse. They're not really sure either. I think they might have been trying to bait out that Sky Seeker. And if they did, that's a really good job of them, as now Point Park doesn't really know what site they're trying to hit.
Yeah, although Now it does look like it's going to be this B site. Clark going to have to let his teammates know to rotate and rotate fast. They're all over here. Wildfire is going to find Clark. It is not going to be a 4v5 retake. I don't know if they know that Creep is up here yet.
Sunseri finding one though. That's always a good thing, is to get a pick. But they definitely were aware of Creep, and Converse, they're still saying that they're in this game. They didn't forget how to play Valorant.
They did not forget how to play Valorant. In fact, the Valkyries have not been down this entire time.
They have not, and they will continue not to be until Point Park can find a round or a few that makes them step up a little bit. Maybe it's a Sunseri ace again, you know. You never really know what it's going to end up being.
Well, Sunseri, speaking of Sunseri,
Ooh.
we do see that operator coming out to play right now. And let me just say, if I know that Sunseri has an operator, I'm going to the other site.
Yeah, I mean, you know, first of all, a Radiant player, ex-Radiant player, whatever you want to call him, if that's on the enemy team, I'm running. Then, he adds an operator to the equation. Oh, the Raze ult, though, could be a solution, that's for sure. But Wildfire goes down, Creep finds the positioning, and the clone going to be going out, gets shot. But Plant's going to go down for Converse. Numbers in favor of Point Park, and this Raze ultimate as well. So that hopefully will be a guaranteed pick for them, assuming they don't lose their Raze. Clark finding the trade on Selzy. And now Clark kind
5
of weak here.
HP.
5 HP.
I think the call might have been made to use Clark there to sort of find some intel. Curse getting excited there in U-Haul, and now it is a 4v2. Of course, you have members on Point Park Esports very low, but doesn't matter. Able to get the kills. The defuse is going to come out, and it is now 11-10. I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm standing up, and I'm on the edge of my seat.
You used that one last week, too.
I did, but I don't mean to, but I just can't help it. I'm so nervous in the suspense, and I don't know whose game it is, and I thought I had the script this week, but I must have been reading a different book.
Yeah.
I think you still
I think
had it.
I think I still have the scripts. You might be right on the map 3 part, though. I will say, you might be right on the map
Is that
3.
a little sneak peek of what's to come?
Right? I mean, who knows? Maybe next map, Point Park starts out at a 7-0 lead, and Converse comes back. It is anyone's game still.
Anyone's game. It's anyone's series,
Mhm.
really. You know, we're at 11-10, map 1. I think only good things to come from here.
And you can see this Converse showers, bath, push. And it was strong the last round. The Yoru ults there as well, and the ults in favor of Converse. So this is a round ideally they need to win. They're going to invest their ults. They're going to invest their guns here because I don't think they have as many credits after this round. And they really need to convert this round. This is what we call a swing round. I know I say it a lot, but these are the crucial rounds that are going to be kind of make or break for the rest of the game.
Well, and especially we talk about the rest of the game. If Point Park Esports are not able to convert this round now, they are on match point. They need to win 2 more just to make it to overtime at that point. So, like you said, very, very crucial round. 11-11. Whichever team would win the next one brings it to match point.
Ooh, and the smoke out from... I don't know if you saw that, but on Creep had the smoke on showers because the flash was there. So they are aware that there's a split push coming, and the Astral comes out for A. Converse, knowing that they want to hit this A site here. And now they're going to be able to get the plant down. It's going to be a 5v5 retake. So, you know, no casualties, but it's going to be tough for Point Park because time will start to tick, and it will go very, very fast.
It is not only where 2 ultimates expended there for Converse, they have that third on board, but Point Park University has 0 ultimates at their disposal.
Right, so the goal here, try and get these kills through the Viper's Pit. Sunseri, a little bit too fearless as he gets taken down by Excite, but Kirst and Selzy finding their respective picks.
And they found the Viper.
And they found the Viper. That is big for space, and Kirst not going to be able to secure the kill on Excite. But now it's just the one player, and oh, Creep goes down.
So close. You know, getting that Viper down, crucial. They did a lot of chip damage to J-Crow there. Unfortunately, at the end, putting Creep there in a 1v2, and that's just not a situation you want to be in. That does mean it is match point. So if you are a Point Park University Pioneer, you cannot allow Converse to get that man advantage, to get sight. I mean, you really just kind of want to delay plant if you can. However, if you have to let them plant, you can have that retake coming in. But it's hard. Only one ultimate available, and you have to get a kill to use it.
And this is something that we can really only see on the desk. Obviously, the players aren't aware, but you can see that Astra bought a shorty. And what that means typically is that the plan is Yoru's going to try and go in, get that kill first, and then you have that gun to use for that Astra. So this is a big kind of gamble coming out from Converse. They're basically saying we don't need that 5th player to have a gun because we're going to try and use this Yoru ultimate to get a kill.
They don't, and that also means with that shorty, and again, look, we see both ultimates there coming out for the side of Converse University. That also means with the shorty, you're able to sit in a smoke if you need to, if the Pioneers try to push it.
That's a fake. A
fake.
placed fake from Converse, as the Sky Seekers as well as the Yoru ult gets invested
First,
on but
almost gets excited there, but doesn't. Now it's a 4v5. Almost retake if this plant goes down, which it does. Paint Shell's not able to do anything. It's 4v3 now. Pioneers have to get this to stay in.
ooh, and Jay is gonna pick up Clark, and that's gonna be the map.
That is going to be the map. That was so incredibly close. Again, two great teams. I think what's a little bit unfortunate is it took 7 rounds for the Pioneers to find their foothold in this map to get it together. I think had they done that a little bit sooner, not only could they have won the map, but I think it would have been a little bit closer. But congratulations to Converse University backers. You guys did win the first map, and you're going to feel a little bit better as we go into this Burgies.
Sure, but on the side of Point Park, last year when these teams first faced off, the score was 13-7, 13-8. So this is a little bit of a step up of a performance. They were probably did a little bit better than they were expecting.
Absolutely,
So-
and we can't see the stats right now, but I do know that Point Park players specifically did better than they did last year. Again, I don't have the actual combat report in front of me, but I do know that their ACS was higher across the board. Also, though, that does mean this entire week across really all leagues, Converse University has not dropped a single map. Now, the closest a team has come to defeat them was earlier this week. Harrisburg University took one map, 13-11, but they also lost 13-2 in the first map. So I'm not sure what that's going to look like here on Breeze. I don't know what the maps are, but hopefully Point Park University isn't Harrisburg and is going to be able to, if they're not able to win, at least push this to just a closer map. Again, 13-10 map 1. I think, though, looking at how they played, and hopefully the comms are coming together a little bit more, I still think that we could see a map 3 in our future.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to see this map 3. This Ascent is the big question mark. And it's going to be a map that really defines the NACE season for Point Park, I think.
And you know what? It is such a different map than this first map, wide open. But before we start talking about Breeze, I want to kind of bring it back to Bind a little bit. I think the round I really kind of want to cover right now was that first round, that 8th round. Sunseri got the ace, and that is really what gave Point Park University the momentum to turn this all around.
That's where it all started.
It did all start. Look, you're going to see right here. Got the first 2, trying to spray through that smoke right there. And look at this. Beautiful. The repositioning.
You got some absolutely beautiful shots from Sunset.
Absolutely beautiful.
I wish I could do this every day.
I wish I could do this every day. And that is your Sunseri ace. And that is the first round that Point Park University got on the board and was able to win the next 3 rounds after that.
So what I'm hearing is Point Park needs to ace round 1.
Yep.
They won't lose 7 straight on the first half, and then they're going to have an even fight after that.
I mean, that is exactly what it is. They really just let Converse build up that momentum, and Sunseri really kind of put in that work. But Sunseri's not the only good player. They're all good players. Creep, our IGL, did a lot a lot this game. I believe I can't remember which round it was. Creep got
The 3K, I
a
think.
3K,
Yeah.
and it really was just kind of. Oh yeah, exactly. This is 2 rounds later. And Creep, again, this is when Creep said, "Hey, I'm the IGL. Let's finish this up. We're still in this," and they really needed that. Was able to win the next round after this as well.
Yeah, and definitely his. I remember watching this round and thinking the spray transfer there is crazy, and the snap to the third final
Hmm.
player is also very
I mean,
beautiful.
it was beautiful. So, like we said, we have good players. We have great players here at Point Park University, but Converse University has great players too. We just saw this at last map. Very, very close. Very excited for again. Breeze is one of my favorite maps.
I mean, right? Even talking about Converse in this past map, the first round was a team ace. It was perfectly
Hmm.
executed. And I feel like, even though Converse's plays weren't necessarily super, super flashy, one player popping off every now and then,
Hmm.
but their team coordination, you can tell they practice a
You
lot.
can.
And that's what we talked about earlier was the experience of Converse. Is it going to be a
Hmm.
factor in this game against Point Park?
And I almost wonder if those first 7 rounds, I mean, we saw Point Park playing a little bit more timidly, and it wasn't until they started converting those rounds that we saw them using their util. I'm sure it looked like they were communicating better as a team, and they weren't just like waiting and holding and do I go in? So I really think it kind of came down to that again we said it is a little bit of a mental game,
Right?
and they do have that tier 2 experience, which you saw. I mean, they played a beautiful game. Um but again, I don't know. It's tough. I don't know who's going to win. Of course, I don't have the script this week. You
Right.
do.
Well, I mean, you thought you did.
I thought I did, and I misplaced it.
Right.
I had it and I misplaced it.
I guess, here, I'll take the script.
Okay.
Okay. I got the script now.
Ari has the script right now.
Whoa.
I didn't do my homework. I didn't read.
Whoa. Map 3, you were right. Yeah, map 3.
We're going to Ascent.
Yeah, we're going to go to
You
Ascent.
heard it here first. Before we get to Ascent, though, we are going to go to Breeze, and I'm so excited about Breeze. Now, Breeze is a little bit different from Bind, and Ascent. Of course, Ascent does have that mid there. But what makes it Breeze different is all the open sight lines. Now, they have reworked it since the map first came out. A little bit of rework mid, a little bit of rework on that A site.
You're right.
Actually, they really reworked the entire map.
Yeah, basically the whole map.
But
yeah.
it's still a lot of open sight lines, especially on those sites. Not a lot of places where you can hide. That means that hitting your shots is so incredibly important. And being able to trade, because it's not always going to be these, oh, turn the corner, they're your opponents.
Yeah.
So I think if Point Park plays like they started to do at the end of last map, I really do think they could take Breeze here from what I saw, and I would be so excited to go to that Ascent.
My script is telling
Uh-huh.
me that we're going to be seeing an overtime game here as well.
Overtime
Overtime
game.
game.
That's what the script says. And you
Yep.
know what? I have to say, I'm excited if it's going to be any one of these 3 maps. It's Breeze.
Yep.
A lot of people hate Breeze, not me.
And I'm excited to see probably if Point Park decides to go with the previous comps that they have been before
Mhm.
with that Viper Harbor double wall sectioning off
Mhm.
every kind of site like a piece of the puzzle, giving yourself a nice little pocket to flank
Yeah.
in, and then having the
Well,
the Viper lineups.
yeah, I mean, Viper. This is Viper's map. We saw Moby and Clark on Viper last map. I would not be surprised to see them on Viper here again. And I think this is a map that you really do need that double controller, because there's so much you have to cut off. And I do think that Harbor Viper combo is so strong, because you have 2 walls now instead of just one, and that really allows you to just cut off so much more of sight and sight lines. I think other controllers I wouldn't mind seeing on Breeze. Maybe Brimstone,
I'd see
because
probably an Astra
an
too.
Astra. I wouldn't really say Omen as much here. You
could.
can argue for any agent on
Right,
any map. You
right.
absolutely can.
Except for one,
Yeah, which one is that?
Deadlock.
You know what? I haven't played enough. I don't really know where Deadlock falls in. But I definitely don't think on Breeze she's as strong. You really have to throw. I don't even know what her that ability is called. You know the one that's like the wall
The wall
that
thing?
cuts off a choke. It's just harder to
Nope.
do on an open map like
wall
this.
sensor?
Wall?
Sensor?
No, that's the
Audio sensor?
that's the audio sensor. I'm talking about the one that can like block off a choke point.
Oh, the wall.
The wall.
That I don't know the name of.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
also don't. We're going to do our homework for
Yeah.
next matchup. So hopefully we don't see a Deadlock coming up because we don't know what her abilities are called right now.
You know what?
But we know what they do.
We
We
do
know what they do.
And if we see a deadlock, I'm not going to complain either.
Me
Because
neither.
I would love to see a
I
deadlock.
would love to see a
in-
Deadlock
in-
as well.
in
Well,
semi-pro gameplay.
I mean, Valkyries have tier
Tier
2
two, semi-pro.
experience, so I would say it's
Pro,
semi-pro gameplay.
Amateur pro, semi-pro. I don't know what qualifies what is. being-
But I would definitely like to see Deadlock in organized gameplay. I have not seen that yet. Certainly not in the professional circuit. We haven't seen it. VCT didn't play Deadlock. We
Right.
also did not see it on mainstream, I think, yet in Game Changers, which is happening right now. And we also have not seen it come out from Point Park University.
Right. You know, hot take. I think we might see a gecko here.
I would love to see it Gecko here.
I don't think it's going to be on the side of Point Park. I think, if anything, it's going to be on the side of Converse with, probably either a Gecko and maybe they might go with the double initiator, double controller as well. I
Well,
wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, they didn't even have a Sentinel
Right.
last time, so I know they like to do a lot of fun comps. But I think other agents I think are fun on Breeze. I like Neon on Breeze.
I do like Neon.
I do like Neon.
Meta? Not really meta,
Not
but
really. But again,
Fun.
you talk about that wall. She has that wall. If you're gonna go that double duelist route, not a bad one to have, especially in a map this large. Being able to run and rotate, not always a bad thing. Of course, make sure you're always checking your corners.
yeah, corners, there's always a few rats in the corner, as they say, typically with the shotguns, right?
Typically with a shotgun.
Yeah. I will say I am one of those rats. I
Oh, you're a
definitely
rat.
I sit in a bunch of corners with a shotgun. That is
Well, as long as you get the kill and you're on my
Yeah.
team, and we are going to see a Neon coming out from the Valkyries right now.
Wow.
And look at that. And they haven't locked in. Moby, who played that Viper there on bind, is not electing to pick bind. Or pick bind.
Big
Pick Viper.
Pig Viper. Interesting. Oh, you do see the harbor though.
We do see the Harbor coming out right now.
This is interesting. So I was right on the double initiator call, just not exactly for Gecko. I mean, I was close. Give me that one. Give me that one. I'll go the double initiator. Sova on this map has been very popular, as you can see. Both teams definitely picking up on that in the sky. A beautiful character on pretty much any map. That dog has a lot of information. The flashes with the util. You can use it to engage a fight. You can use it to just get information. So that's really, really big. I think Point Park might have gotten a little bit caught off guard by, I think, the Yoru. Because, Yoru, you see bind, you see Yoru every now and then. But you typically don't scrim against a team that has a Yoru. And so there's some plays that you're maybe not aware of. But then again, here's the thing with Chamber on this map. There's a bunch of Chamber spots that you may not be aware of if you don't scrim and see with Chamber on here. And that's going to be a new one for Cursed, I believe, this season. Maybe he played one game on Chamber so far this year. But I'm curious to see how that comes to be.
I believe I did see some scrimming, or practicing, if I'm not mistaken, on Chamber, but I can't remember if it was Cursed. So I can't really say for sure. But man, I am so excited. We have a couple different agent swaps coming out here. J. Cruel is going to be that lone controller who was the Yoru last pick, or last map rather.
Oh, and already fighting for mid. That's going to be a huge kind of standpoint for Converse, as they say, yeah, we know mid's important. You guys, you don't get to have that right off for free.
You don't get to have that for free.
And now Clark just trying to hold his B site with nothing but 2 snake bites. And the flash comes out, sees the Neon get on site, and doesn't see the Sova, as Excite is going to be picking up that first kill.
Curse now just trying to play back, wait for the rest of his team. Doesn't want to get caught out too early.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a bad decision. It's harder to take a 1v5 than it is to take a 4v5, but that does mean Plant is going to go down. Still on a pistol round here. Sensei on site doesn't want to get spotted by that Sova dart, as Curse does. But I think the Neon saw them, but so did Excite.
And Creep finds one, but that's going to be all, as the rest of the team is going to go down, leaving it just up to Selzy, and Selzy's not going to be able to find any more value. 1-0 in favor
1-0.
of Converse.
And, you know, if I had one sort of thing I would like to see more from Point Park Esports that I've noticed across, you know, the couple games I have seen them play, it's working on their pistol rounds and their pistol strats. And pistol rounds are so fast, but I don't see the Pioneers converting those a lot of times. And like you said, pistol rounds do win games. They do win rounds. That's 4 kind of, or let's say 2 give me rounds if you do that after you win that. And I'd like to see Point Park kind of work on that a little bit, because it just seems that their pistol run isn't quite as strong as a lot of their competitors.
And I like that Point Park kind of swapped their setup around here. They said, we're not going to let Converse be too confident with who's on what site. So I do appreciate how Point Park has kind of handled the situation, swapping up the Viper onto the opposing site. And now they're not exactly sure of who's here and how many, but they're going to try and find out, as the Sky is going to invest the util. And the Neon going to get hopefully caught out. And yes,
nice.
Excite, though, finding that shot on the Selzy. J. Cruel with onto Clark, because, you know, their guns are bigger. And bigger typically means better when you're talking about Valorant. Curse, though, with the Headhunter, finds Jay. So, you know, we're seeing that chamber kind of come to a little bit of value there. And now it's a 3v3. So, yes, guns are in favor of Converse. And they're going to show it as the 3v2 now comes to front. This harbor wall just trying to kind of get everybody on the site, trying to get as many picks, and yeah, well played by Converse there. They definitely did not give Point Park any chances with those shock darts, and kind of took everything out.
They did, and we saw a little bit of ring around the Rosie there by the bomb. Unfortunately for Point Park, we're not able to recover those 2 guns that Converse let go, and that kind of could have been a win condition for that round.
Right, but again, like you always say, I get to say what you always say.
You do get to say what I always say.
Is that any damage on an eco round or a pistol round or whatever you want to call it is good damage.
It is good damage, because when you talk about that pistol round and then you get to buy up the second round, and that's kind of your bonus round, not giving them the opportunity to take as many guns into that bonus round is crucial.
Right, and I believe we saw Guardians this time instead of Bulldogs. On the previous map, Bind, we saw a lot of Bulldogs
Yes, we did.
out from Converse. And maybe that's just a breeze change.
Well, and I think it might be, because look at these open sight lines, and I think having that Guardian where you're able to just, you know, point where you want to shoot and click, very, very important, a great gun. I also think a lot of things that we see more here on Breeze than maybe some of the other maps are we going to see. You know, some maps where we see players bring out that Phantom, you might see the Vandal more, because the Phantom does have that 140 headshot versus the 150 that the Vandal has at a certain range.
And what an execute by Converse there. The 2 walls, you know, you kind of use the Neon wall functioning like that Viper wall that Point Park has, and they're going to get a clean execute with the Harbor ult, and that's going to be a sight all in their favor, and now it's 5v3.
It is 5v3. Moby is so low. Unfortunately, Pioneers, who was it, Cursed, or whoever was taking that fight, was not able to spray through. But Selzy is going to get one on Jay there.
Oh, there's hope. There's hope. There's hope. Sunseri says that he's still got bullets in favor.
Selzy knows exactly where one is. Gets it. 1v1. But there's not going to be enough time for the spike, and Wildfire is going to find Selzy. Unfortunately, is going to go down to the bomb there. But that is another round on the board for the Valkyries.
And so I feel like we've seen this before. I feel like we've seen, you know, Converse kind of come out to a generous lead, we shall say.
We have, and we talked about how Pioneers maybe were not able to get in the right mental headspace, you know, knew that their competitors had that tier 2 experience, but I hope they're able to get out of that headspace now because they're coming off of that loss. And that has to feel bad going into this next one. I think a lot of times the best teams are the ones that are able to just kind of throw all that away and just focus on the game.
And yeah, that completely makes sense. And Selzy now just trying to get some information. I mean, Point Park, they want to play a little bit slow on defense because, you obviously don't want to push up and turn a corner and find 4 people. But that's a lot of use to allow from B. And I feel like the key for a Converse execute is a harbor wall. When you see that harbor wall, you kind of know, oh, they're hitting this site. Sunsherry does find one, though. And now it's standstill for both teams. As Converse is going to try and push up and take some space, though. But are they aware? Ooh, they are aware. Wildfire gets a nice shot on the Curse. J. Cruel finding 2, Clark and Creep, and now it's just down to Sunsherry. And they are aware of the positioning of this Jet. And now Sunsherry in a little bit of trouble with the shock darts and is going to swing out and get caught by the side from Wildfire. Yeah, 4-0. You don't typically like to see that at the beginning of a round.
You definitely do not. I think if I were Point Park, I probably would have made the call to save that Vandal.
I mean,
if anyone could do it, it is Sunsherry.
That's true.
So I don't blame them for giving it a shot. However, Plant being down, I think just kind of, hey, let's save that Vandal for the next round and kind of keep that economy a little bit. That's probably the call I would have made.
Well, there is an interesting function with Valorant, and that comes with loss bonuses. And
it does.
Every round you lose, you will get more if it's in a row. Let's say if you get more credits for losing 2 rounds in a row than 1, and it maxes out at 3. So it's it's kind of interesting in terms of like the math and the economy of the game. We're kind of delving a little bit past just pure raw gameplay.
A little past the basics for those of you who just care about maybe your friends or family on the team, but it is interesting to know. However, I do kind of want to touch on that because yes, there's a last bonus, but you don't need to die to activate and trigger that last bonus. You just need to lose a round.
True, but you can't save your gun necessarily because if you end up saving your gun, that loss bonus goes out the window. The most credits you can gain is 1,000. So that's why, teams will consider saving versus how much more damage can I do? Would it be worth more if I get 1 or 2 picks here versus saving my gun? What's going to hurt more? Is it going to hurt them more, or is it going to benefit us to have this rifle?
And definitely would have been nice for Point Park to see Sunsherry get a couple there, but was not able to. But that's okay. New round, new team. Point Park does have the guns here, but Wildfire, beautiful shots, gets 2, and that's why I love Raze on Breeze. Look how fast. You get shot at, that's okay, I'm just going to run away and tap your head when I go back.
And by Raze you mean Neon, but it's okay.
Neon. I did mean Neon.
But it's okay. Is Neon going to be able to find this 4th pick? And yes, a monster round from Wildfire. Like, I know we talk about Point Park a lot because we do have the ability to kind of look back on the previous games and their stats and their players, but Wildfire has been popping off on this Neon.
Wildfire has been popping off on Neon here, on Raze, on Bind.
10-1.
10-1. You see Wildfire being shot at, and then you see them just run away.
Wow. I wish that, I could just, in Valorant, just take a shot and then just be like, yeah, I'm just going to run away if I miss. But Wildfire doesn't miss, apparently.
Wildfire doesn't miss. Wildfire runs and repositions and then shoots.
And now Cursed with this Marshall. Whoa! What was that by Wildfire? Whoa! That was a slide peek that if you have a Marshall, yeah, there's a very small chance that you're hitting that. And you can see that Converse kind of has the read, well, not necessarily read, but strategy that mid control is going to be their space. Especially with this Neon, you can take as much space as you want. But Clark finding one as he is pushed up in B main. So now gives him time to reposition with this cage, and this might be a little bit of a problem for Converse if Clark can get a little bit more value.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the double controller. Oh, Selzy with a nice shot there on Excite. I love the double controller that Point Park is running, but Converse University is able, first of all, if you have a player who can hit shots like Wildfire, I mean, just rendered Sunsare's ultimate useless. But if you have a player that can hit shots like Wildfire, you can put them on that duelist role, and you're able to use Neon's wall is sort of like a controller wall.
But now 2 players that have been having monster rounds, both Celsi and Wildfire, they are trying to find who's going to be victorious, and it's going to be Celsi. Celsi, does he have enough time? It's going to be close.
It's so close.
And it
And
doesn't look
not
like
close enough. Wildfire did not get that last kill in the end, but was able to stall long enough. Very, very unfortunate for Point Park. Did get everyone offline, but did not have enough time to defuse the bomb. And of course, Valorant is an objective-based game.
Mm-hmm. It's not just about shooting them in the face.
It's not just about shooting. Now, if you can shoot them in the face before they put the bomb down,
Sure.
sure,
Then yes.
But in that retake scenario, Wildfire, that is only their second death. 13-2 right now. Wildfire just having a monster of a game. Now, if Point Park is able to win this round, that is a faster conversion than we saw there on Bind. So I wouldn't count them out quite yet. We did see something similar there on map 1.
Right. It's just about getting their footing. Once the rounds come, they're going to fall like water in a waterfall, because that's what water does in a waterfall.
Water does fall in a waterfall.
Right. That's why it's called a waterfall. Did you know that?
You learn something new every day.
Oh.
This is why they pay you the big bucks.
Yeah. See? Waterfalls. Speaking of waterfalls, Sunsari. He's going to get 3K this round. I'm calling it here. Calling it here.
Classic Sunsari 3K. But not if Wildfire has anything to do about it. It looks like a fight mid, and Sunsari making the call to back off.
Okay, maybe Sunsari didn't get a 3K this round. But
Yet.
he went down. But it's okay.
I wasn't even. You're right.
But it's okay, because Celsi is still here with this ultimate, if he does so choose, and he does so choose. Now looking for this Viper is going to be able to find it. That's some big value.
That is huge value.
It's going to respond, force out a response from Converse, which is the Sky Seekers. So now the thing is, you got to play slow, wait for those Seekers to kind of figure out where everyone is so you can reposition and hit a coordinated push when you do feel the time is right. And Clark feels that the time is right now, but doesn't notice that there's a second one and kind of hits the reload in front of him. But now Celsi popping off a little bit there. That's 2 for him on the round. And now it's about trying to convert, and that's not going to happen as Wildfire. Still having a monster game.
It's not going to happen. Unfortunately, was running out of time there at the end. But even though Point Park University does not have one on the board right now, Celsi is just playing so beautifully right now. I mean, if you want to talk kind of about standout players on this map, so far, again, lots of time for anyone else to pop off. I'm going to go ahead and say it's Celsi and Wildfire right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of just about who's top player is going to do more. It's really, you know, we did say it's an objective-based game, but it's also who can shoot the enemy team in the head faster.
And Wildfire was able to shoot Celsi in the head faster that round. Is going to kind of make it hard. Clark, the only one on site, but gets 1. And that's Bomb. Gets 2. Clark.
Yeah, don't forget about Clark. Clark's still the GOAT. We said that.
Clark's still the GOAT, but Wildfire so incredibly low. But is able to get Clark. It's 3v3. Going to be a retake again. But
finding
not
the
anymore.
big. That's big.
That's big, but you know who's still alive is Wildfire.
And now it comes down to, can Point Park convert this 8th round just like they did last time?
And that's going to be
Deja
huge for
vu?
them if they're able to.
And yeah.
And they are.
Hey, I feel like we've seen this before.
You know what? I don't think we have.
Yeah, I feel like maybe that they shot them on round 8. Now, was it an ace this time? No, it wasn't. But maybe it's delayed. Maybe Celsi's getting the next one.
Oh, right. We're just building momentum for the Celsi ace. And you could see a little bit ago that smile there on Kroot's face, although now wiping a little bit of sweat, as I'm sure all these players are giving this their all. Of course, we cannot see the Valkyries, but I'm sure they're just as invested. And I know they're not getting too comfortable because we did see the same exact scoreline on Bind at the beginning of the game.
I mean, just look at this KD from Wildfire. It's absolutely ridiculous. And they always keep pushing up onto this A door or this A tunnel, trying to look for the first initial pick. And so they know that
sees.
All of a sudden, they have to push A main because all of a sudden they lost A site. But Creep finds pick onto Wildfire, so that's gonna be their big wild card going down. Creep says, not in my house. Creep needs to look for a few more, but doesn't get it. It's gonna be a 2v2. Viper's Pit was invested though, so now it's really, it's gonna be a tough one to retake here. That's for sure.
It is going to be tough. Has that numbers disadvantaged. But, you know, they still have the potential if they play kind of together and are able to trade. Of course, they know that Sky is so incredibly low, but don't know where to look. Trying to just hold these crosses. But it's hard when you're at that numbers disadvantage because they're going to be able to trade you out so much easier. And now it's a 1v3. Now knows where one is, and probably a second. Knows they had some sort of cross, but they're just going to swing out. The call is going to be made to save that gun, and that is the wise decision.
Yeah.
Not enough time to defuse, not enough time to kill all three, and just bring that rival into the next round.
Yeah, I mean, definitely now. I believe the economy is in shambles for Point Park, so any gun they can get is going to benefit them in major ways.
Mm-hmm.
And now, yeah, they're going to be forcing. So this is kind of do or die for Point Park. This is the swing round that we always talk about.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be momentum for the rest of the game. If Point Park doesn't really convert on this round, it's going to be a short game, most likely. I can't say that definitely because it's Valorant, and anything can happen.
Anything can happen. I mean, we did see a similar scoreline. Map 1, we did see Converse University with 8 points on the board. However, what we did start seeing from the Pioneers were that they were playing a little bit better together by this point, and we're just not seeing that quite yet. And I mean, when you have a player like Wildfire just popping off, it's really hard to deal with that, especially when you know Wildfire can just run in anywhere, really.
Right, yeah, because you could be anywhere because that speed is something so detrimental. And I believe they did spot Clark there, which is going to, give them some information, not crazy information, as they are typically aware that Clark plays on B site, but Selzy finding the first pick of the round, and Sunseri all of a sudden finding these picks in mid, and they're going to force him to go to A pretty fast. This dart doesn't catch Selzy, but this dart out from him might, and this is going to be a little bit of ring around the rosy, as 2 players are spotted on site. They aren't aware of the third, and now they
Sunseri. Beautiful shot.
Uh-oh. Oh, but Creep's good for 1. Is Creep good for 2? Might be.
Still a 2v1, and that is going to be another round on the board there for your Point Park Pioneers.
A little bit close,
Very close.
but, Point Park needed to win that round,
They did need to win that round.
and they converted it. And that's all you can really ask for.
That really is all you can ask for. And if they're able to get the next 2 rounds here before we switch over into the next half, looking exactly how they did on Bind.
Right, it's the same half, 8-4.
Same half, 8-4. And, they weren't quite able to win out there on Bind, but that doesn't mean they can't do that here on Breeze.
If I'm Point Park here, I'm expecting this Neon ult to come out right away, and yep, there it is. As if you know that they are on a shambles buy, and Wildfire taking a little bit of an interesting tour around the map with his eyes as he does go down to Clark. Sunseri now trying to find the pick on J-Cruel, but almost gets picked himself. And now we got some low players on the side of
We
Point
do
Park.
have low players, and unfortunately on Breeze we don't have that Sky to kind of heal them up. Now they do still have numbers advantage, but 2 of those players are so incredibly low you could breathe on them and then get hit. Now Clark I think only saw 1 mid, don't know if they saw the other one there.
But it looks like this is going to be a B hit for Converse. There are 3 players still online, so the round is still possible, and there comes the Harbor Wall, that is going to cue that site hit, but the trade comes out onto the Harbor. Clark having a monster round of his own, 3 picks, knows where the 4th is just going to play smart here. They have the information of where he is, and he sees the gun.
Knows where he is. Can we make it 4?
Clark, come on. You got the 4K in you, and,
And we
yeah.
can make it 4. That's a 4K for Clark, and that is the 3rd round on the board for the Pioneers. Just 1 more, and we're looking not too bad.
This doesn't look as dominant as the first game did for Point Park, kind of in their
their mojo arc, shall we say,
Their
where
mojo arc.
where they took the rounds in rapid kind of succession,
Mhm.
like we saw on the first time. You know, obviously due to a Sansaria ace and kind of big clutches coming out from, I know Creep had one as
Mhm.
well. So it's just about, can they kind of find that gel? You know,
Mhm.
the wins are starting to come. The rounds are
Mhm.
starting to come. Now it's just about, can we keep them going? Can we do something about this on our attack side? Of course, following this last round of the half.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they need to do. Now, coming in to attack, they will have that double controller to block off more of sight, and that does give them the opportunity to kind of fake a sight should they need to, because they have two controllers. But they're really gonna have to look out for wildfire here.
Yeah.
It's just it's so hard on a map like Breeze to kind of track a neon. I mean,
Yeah, that's a feat.
it is a feat, and you know what? I don't blame them. That's hard to deal with. Myself, especially on this map, it's so hard if you have a good neon, and Wildfire is not just a good neon, but a great neon.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that the rounds that Point Park has converted, they've done a really good job of containing wildfire. So is
Hmm.
that the key to winning these rounds?
Yeah, I definitely think that is sort of a win condition for Point Park. And we see it now, but
Ooh.
Wildfire just gonna get that shot there on Senseri first. That definitely is a win condition. Is getting Wildfire.
Uh-oh.
And I think Selzy in a difficult position right here is going to, of course, get collided after losing a lot of damage to that Hunter's Fury. It's now 3v5 for Pioneers. Now, the Valkyries are not on site yet. They do kind of have that site control, but they don't have that numbers advantage. It's going to be so incredibly difficult. And also, Creep is not in a position to be traded out.
Right, so to hold the site to be traded out, it's kind of almost I don't want to say useless, because you can still get valuable info from
Mhm.
playing on A, trying to figure out where all of the players are, but this cut noise rehit play from Converse is going to be really, really big. And I expect, honestly, I think this harbor ult could be invested here as well. It is last round, so there's definitely going to be this harbor ult. And yep, there it is. As now they are definitely aware that's where they're headed.
I mean, just look at all that utility there on that A site.
Oh, is Creep aware? Creep is definitely aware that there's a player there. But now it's up to the remaining players of Clark and Curse to find their respective picks and make this an even fight. Ooh, the shots coming out from Creep, and not going to get that final shot on the head, and still going to be stalling out, which is going to be valuable time. And Wildfire, the flash is there for him. And that's the 3K, the 4K, and Moby's going to find the last on to Creep.
Now, Moby there in mid has been giving. Well, I mean, Wildfire in mid has been giving Point Park a hard time, but Moby there that last round was giving Point Park such a hard time. You know, we had Cursed, who knew they were there, Creep knew they were there, and that's just so hard to deal with when you also have an execute happening on site, but you can't leave that flank open. They could come from the back, they could come from doors.
Yeah.
And knowing you have to deal with that while also having to deal with the spike, it was a lot. However, I just want to point out, look at the scoreline.
Yeah.
You know what? Now, I'm not going to say what that means. I don't want to cast or curse anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Yeah.
think we all know what that means.
Yeah, that 39. Yep. That's what it means.
That's what I was saying.
Right, 39. And we all know things about 39, and that's that
But
Wildfire.
Doesn't matter. Wildfire gonna get that first shot down
Yeah.
just with that headshot, and oh my goodness, Wildfire is just having an incredible game. And I think Point Park University, if they want to have a chance in that, they need to keep that up. But Wildfire, again, look at that movement and those shots. Being able to have the movement and the shots, that is so incredibly hard to deal with.
And here's the thing, even without the neon movement from that extra speed, pushing off of a Skydog if a player is concussed or has to shoot the dog, that's really, really big, because that is a guaranteed pick. And I love what Converse is kind of doing there with making sure they get that guaranteed pick. And the push out into the wall, into a crossfire, is not going to end well for Point Park, because their spike's going to go down, Cursed is going to be spotted, and it's going to look a little bit rough as the flash is there, and Wildfire picks up the third. So, pistol round goes in favor of Converse.
We've seen it before.
We've seen it 3 other times, in fact.
Yeah. I wonder if that's maybe something that Point Park wants to focus on more as. If they can win their pistol rounds, I think these are going to be games that they can turn into wins.
I definitely think being able to turn around those pistol rounds is going to be important. I don't know why Point Park has just had so much trouble. Even on games they've won, it doesn't seem like pistol rounds are strongest. Now, granted, I know that's not always what teams are spending time on reviewing. There's lots of other parts that go into a game like this.
Right.
And so I understand that pistol round is just kind of like, hey, run and shoot. But definitely something you want to work on, because if they're able to start doing that, it'll be great. But Wildfire already with the Marshall gets 2.
Wow, were those through smoke? They might have been, but Excite finding 2, J. Quill finding the 5th, and that's a flawless. 2 flawlesses in a row for Converse.
It is just so hard when you have those pistols going into the second round on Breeze to do anything, because once they have any sort of guns with any sort of range, it's so much easier. I mean, that Marshall, beautiful on a map like this. I know it's not an operator, but when they're on that pistol round,
Yep, it's a
it
one
does
tap
the
to the
same
body.
thing. It's a one tap to the body.
Yeah.
So definitely hard. But being able to buy rifles should definitely help Point Park here, especially on these big sightlines, if they're able to get those headshots.
And I like that kind of harbor wall from Creep there, is that blocks off pretty much most of the sight lines, but is someone gonna get caught? But the execute coming now for Sunseri. Sunseri gonna get spammed through the cage with the dart. Beautiful play by Converse. They know their stuff. They've definitely had some strats here. Creep finds a pick of his own, but now it's 4v2. And it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be really rough. And Wildfire fighting a nice shot with the Guardian. I'm a big fan of the Guardian, and I think Wildfire is too, as he picks up his 3rd of the round. It's now 12-3. This is match point.
This is match point. Not the same game that we saw there on Bind. They need to win 9 rounds in a row just to bring it into OT. But again, you had the script. OT could still be in the cards.
You know, the big part about OT is one team has to get to 12.
One team has to get to 12.
So naturally, the other team has to now, right?
I mean, you would think if one team could do it, the other team
Right.
could do it. But we do see an operator coming out here for Converse. And you know whose hands it's in? It's in Wildfire's.
Ooh. With the Neon ult online as well. So that's going to be a deadly combo.
That is a deadly combo.
You can take long range fights, close range fights, any fight you want to. And of course, like you talked about before, have that instant rotate ability to wherever you want to be on the map. And this is really, really big, as that drone is not going to scan Wildfire. Is Wildfire going to be able to find the timing to hopefully catch one of these players out in mid, maybe as this Viper orb goes down, or something along those lines? But it looks like Point Park is going to put all of their eggs in one basket, as the Skydog spots pretty much all of them. The trip gets cursed, sprayed down, and ooh, the swing through the wall. Moby doing his job, not doing a super flashy play, but that's what you got to do on Cypher. Play off your utility and make sure to get some picks off of that.
And that is so hard there with that neural theft coming out. Or sorry, not neural theft, but being able to know where they are. There's one person left, and it's all down to Clark. That's going to be game if they get this defuse, which I think they can.
Yeah.
And that is game, and that is series.
Yep, that is the map. That's series. And I believe, if my math is correct, that is also the end of the NACE Star League league run for Point Park.
Yeah, you know, just a little bit unfortunate. They had a lot of good things going. I think, unfortunately for the Pioneers, I think their shot might have been there on Bind. I think if they had kind of gotten their insecurities out at the beginning of the game, I certainly think they could have converted it before round 8 on Bind. But it's tough. I mean, we saw the Valkyries. They are tough opponents, and I think the fact that Pioneers were even able to get 10 rounds on Bind speaks volumes just to the kind of game they have. But, I mean, when you have a player like Wildfire on Breeze, it's so hard to do anything about that. I mean,
Yeah.
Wildfire just had incredible rounds after rounds. Um, Wildfire had the ace.
Right, yeah. I mean, it is just with a player with speed of Neon and the kind of ability to just do whatever you want on the map. It's kind of unstoppable. And it's just really, really broken.
It's so broken. I mean, look at this movement coming out here from Wildfire, and just the ability to kind of move all the way around the map. Um, this is a perfect map for Neon if you know how to use Neon, and Wildfire knows how to use Neon. Look how beautiful that is. Gets a shot, then is able to just run back mid, run to site, run back mid. I mean, it's so fast.
Did you see that movement there at the end of it too? You can
Yes.
jump up onto that box, which you can with a normal player, but it's a little bit easier too to just kind of jump up there, get the speed, and you're not expecting someone
You're
to
not
be on
expecting.
that angle.
And not only the speed, being able to rotate, but it's very, very hard for opponents to track a player like Neon, who just moves so much faster than any other agent on the map. I mean, it's so hard to deal with. Wildfire was on that raise earlier with the satchels was also hard
Right.
to track, but I mean, the movement, Wildfire, incredibly, incredibly strong, and just an incredible game. Now, Point Park did, they had a couple rounds. We had Clark with a 4K.
Right.
A
I believe
couple
Clark
rounds.
ended up on the top of the leaderboard for Point Park.
Yes.
So, you can see maybe in a few rounds where he does have these pop off moments, and Point Park wins their rounds off of these moments, and I think maybe they just needed a little bit more of those.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, and I mean, this was great, and we heard kind of the teams. I don't know if you guys could hear it, but we could hear the team cheering. Unfortunately, we're not able to get many rounds after that, or any. I think that was the third round there on the board. But a lot of what Point Park's rounds came to were a lot of just sort of like hero plays. We had the Sunseri Ace last map. We had Clark here. Selzy had a lot of good rounds.
Selzy had a lot of good rounds.
Selzy and Selzy's utility with the Sova on Breeze, very good. I know it's hard and it looks like that was a stomp, but that does not speak to Point Park being bad. I think it just speaks to the caliber that Converse Valkyries are. And Wildfire had a beautiful game.
Right. I mean, Converse came in here today undefeated for a reason. They're not just a team that got lucky a few days.
They are not just a team
They're
that
a
got
solid
lucky a few
team.
days. They have not lost a single map all week. They have not lost a single series all season.
Yeah.
And again, and not even just NACE, did well in CVAL last year. I'm sure we'll see them again in CVAL. As Point Park is also competing, so it would be great to see another matchup. The first map was closer than the other two teams, although Breeze, maybe a map that Point Park might be looking to ban against against the Valkyries in the future. But great games all around.
I mean, I think, when it comes to Point Park, just getting started a little bit more. We saw the first 7 rounds, maybe not go their way, but if Point Park does see them in CVAL, definitely Bind is the map I want to see played because that was close. I want to see that again. I want to see a rematch.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to see Bind. I think Ascent would have been another good game. And I think maybe a map like Sunset would have been a good map. So I think those would be the 3 I'd really like to see from Point Park. Bind, not so much.
It's fun.
They tried and they did great. But it's just really hard when you have Neon. Wildfire, I just have no notes. I can't stop talking about it. No notes.
Yeah.
But I think that is unfortunately the end here. We are not going to move on to that third map, Ascent. I think we had the wrong script today.
Yeah, I think because you had it first.
Something got lost in translation.
Maybe the telepathic transfer screwed it up.
I should have read it when I had it.
Right? Yeah, I mean,
next time.
What version did you? Did you download
think
it
I
to
might
your brain,
have
or was it?
I think I might have had the first draft.
That
might have been the issue.
Might have got the wrong
I
version.
might have had the wrong version, but unfortunately for Point Park, their run in the NACE Star League looking to move to postseason is out. But definitely keep in mind on Converse University Valkyries. We are done here, But Point Park University will be live on Tuesday with League of Legends, our first
That's right.
their first match of the season. So definitely don't want to miss it. And make sure you follow our socials, and definitely make sure you are following this Twitch
This Twitch
channel.
channel.
You're already here. Just hit the heart.
Yep.
It's
just
that easy.
It's that easy. And, you know, again, if you're looking for more Valorant from the Point Park Esports crew, you can, of course, head to our socials, or you can show back here on next Wednesday, I believe, and we're going to have another NACE game for you.
Just because we're out of kind of the running doesn't mean we're out of the tournament just yet. We still have some exciting games, especially as Point Park University preps for that CVAL season. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you're here next Wednesday from our Valorant, and make sure you check in and cheer on our league team on
Right.
Tuesday.
Yeah. We support every game here.
We support every game. Definitely not matches you want to miss out, but unfortunately, that's all we have today. I
Yeah.
want to thank our lovely production staff. Congrats to the players. We also have a content team. Ari, thank you so much for casting with me today.
Thank you for casting with me
It
today.
was a pleasure as always.
And GG's to
GG's.
Converse today. Fortunately, we did fall. Point Park, they lose their kind of postseason hopes, but we look to bounce back. Point Park will look to bounce back. And yeah,
Again,
thanks for watching. I mean,
thanks for
yeah.
watching. We will see you guys here next Wednesday. And don't forget to come on Tuesday.
Don't forget. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Woo!